Welcome to This Week in Crowder College, an in-depth look into how Crowder College students, faculty, and staff are working together so students soar to new heights, communities are impacted, and lives are changed. This Week in Crowder College is sponsored by the law offices of Wood and Peterson in Neosho, specializing in workers' compensation, personal injury, Social Security disability, and more. Learn more online at neoshoattorney.com. Now here's this week's edition of This Week in Crowder College.
Welcome to a brand new week of This Week in Crowder College right here on 91.7 FM. Adam Winkler here with you. Privileged to be joined this week by Kristi Chapman. She is the Admissions, Events, and Tours Coordinator out there at Crowder College. And Kristi, thank you so much for being with us.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm excited to be here.
Well, before we jump in and start talking about touring the campus and some of the questions you might hear from prospective students, just tell us about why you love Crowder so much and what you enjoy about working out there at Crowder College.
I have been fortunate to work at Crowder for 13 years, and I've stayed because I love it. Specifically, I love my job. I love helping incoming students as prospective students navigate and understand the opportunities that they have at Crowder that maybe they didn't realize were there. I love getting them excited and confident in their decision to come to Crowder. It's such a cool time in their life when you're a senior and you're trying to navigate that next step, and I get to really help be that person to guide them through that next step, and of course specifically to Crowder. But I love Crowder because, honestly, what I always tell students, that it really offers an education that's affordable and accessible, as in we have multiple locations, but also it's that connection to the classroom. You're not in a lecture hall. You're actually a student with a name. You get to know your classmates. You get to know your instructors. You just get a truly personalized experience at Crowder. So I love sharing that with students, that this could be what your education looks like.
Well, technology has done some wonderful things for us. We can be in different places halfway around the world and experience certain things we never be able to get to experience before because of technology. But there's something about having your feet on the ground at a particular place and experiencing what it's all about. And I think that's the importance of taking campus visits for college. So tell us about, just from your experience, the importance of prospective students actually coming on campus and taking a tour of the campus to see what it's all about.
Absolutely. And you said it perfectly. A lot of times students have an expectation in their mind where, whether it's Crowder or another school, whether it's another public, private school, 2-year, a 4-year school, but in their mind they have this expectation and they know exactly what they're getting into because, like you said, of technology, it's social media and it highlights, it's a highlight reel. It's exciting. It's, engaging. It entices you. Then when you get on campus, you get a true feel. And that's a lot of the feedback I receive, and that's when I get so excited, is when students step foot on campus, they have a campus tour, so they actually get to see the facilities. They get to visualize themselves here. They get to see the dorms. Where are they going to sleep? Where are they going to eat? Where are they going to study? What's their class going to be like? Where are they going to hang out with their friends? And they say, wow, it just feels like a community here. Wow, I feel so connected to the campus. And sometimes they'll say, wow, this feels a lot bigger than I thought it'd be. And other times they say, wow, this is a little bit, smaller, but I like it because I like that I can actually get to know my instructors. So it's all perspective, but it's the fact that once you're on campus, you get the reality and you truly do get a feel. As the Crowder recruiter, I, of course, want students to tour our campus, but I actually encourage them, if you have an idea in your mind that you're thinking, well, what if this other school, what if this university, what if I should go there? I'm like, go tour it. You'll get a feeling for it. And generally, the students I stay in contact with, is they're like, yeah, this just wasn't the right fit for me. And that's what's so cool, too, about this area in Southwest Missouri. There are so many opportunities for students. There's so many colleges to go to, and they're all great options. But there's going to be a right fit for those students, and that's why we want them to tour, because they get to feel if this is going to be the right fit for them, so that way they can have a great education and they can have a great experience. We want it to be a balance. We want them to have a great education, but an experience to enjoy their college years.
Well, Kristi Chapman's with us today on This Week in Crowder College. She is the admissions, events, and tours coordinator out there at Crowder College. And Kristi, what are some of the questions that you like to be asked when someone's touring the campus? Or what are some of the questions you've heard throughout the years that people have posed to you guys that you think, man, that's a really good question to ask while you're on campus?
There have been so many. So I'm sitting here thinking, okay, some of the, the top questions, some of the fun questions, some of the, off-the-wall questions. But a lot of times, I will say in this area, one of the comments that I get is, it's just Crowder, and, what kind of college experience am I going to get at just Crowder? And I say that lightly because then we like to respond and say, well, just Crowder has graduates working all over the United States. Just Crowder has prepared students for amazing careers, whether that's going right into the career or whether that's going into the workforce. So it's that question of, well, students will kind of hesitate and be like, oh, what can Crowder do for me? Mm-hmm. We can do a lot in a sense that your education doesn't have to put you in debt. Your education can be affordable. College is expensive. I mean, it's something you invest in, though. And our classes, they transfer or they go right into the workforce depending on what's the best fit for the student. I love sharing that with students. I love them to be honest with me. So I ask them, how do you feel about Crowder? I had one of my favorite stories to tell is I had a student from Florida, a recruit. She was one of our athlete recruits. And her first time coming to Missouri was on her tour to Crowder. And I thought, this is so great because I have students that live 10 miles away that think, it's just Crowder. And here she is, coordinating a flight to come tour. The first time she's ever been to Missouri was touring Neosho and at Crowder. So it's just really cool to get to help answer that for students if they're feeling like, well, I just don't know what Crowder has. And also the support system. A lot of times college can feel very intimidating because we use lots of words that are new, like credit hours and semesters and FAFSA, financial aid, grants. I mean, there's just a lot of new terminology. There's a lot of new concepts. And so when students say, well, I can't afford school, or, well, I'm not very good at school, I'm like, it's okay. We have resources here. We have a support system, whether that's free counseling for your mental, emotional health, whether that's scholarships and financial aid resources to help you submit your FAFSA, to help you review your scholarships, whether that's career and transfer services to help you decide what am I going to do next, or what major should I go for, tutoring to help you in your classes. So I really like bridging those gaps and connecting that for students, that college does not mean you're doing this alone. It means you get a brand new set of support and resources at Crowder. And they've had that in high school. A lot of students, they're familiar with that. And even if they're non-traditional, they've been out of high school, it can be like, well, I just don't know quite where to go. Where do I start? And I'm like, you start by just sending me an email, or you give me a call, or you shoot me a text, and you just ask the question, where do I start? And we go from there. Mm-hmm.
Well, you've given a lot of tours out there on campus, so this might be an easy question. It might be a difficult question for you. What is your favorite spot to show people on a tour of Crowder College?
It's a hard one because it's like, I love showcasing the history of Crowder. So some of my favorite spots are highlighting our student-painted murals in Newton Hall, because it used to be during Camp Crowder when we were in the military base, it was built and designed as military barracks. So we honor that history with student-painted murals from Crowder art students that showcase black and white showcases Camp Crowder, and then the color showcases Crowder and our academics today. There are lots of different areas on campus, but that's always one of my favorites because I always kind of joke with students, we didn't just go to the store. We didn't just go to a store and buy these paintings to put on the wall. There's a lot of history in this. Mm-hmm. Crowder students painted them. The history showcases Camp Crowder and complements it with our academics today. So that's absolutely one of my favorite spots whenever I get to show them about our Crowder history, Camp Crowder, military barracks. Outside the library, we have a wall that honors Camp Crowder and how we started. In the library, we have General Enoch Crowder, who Crowder is named after. So it's just, I like tying in the history. So it's like we're rich in history. Our buildings, they're not old, they're historical. Mm-hmm. There is rich history within these walls.
And the old saying, if these walls could talk, you'd love to hear what they have to say in the history of Crowder College. Finally, for you here today, if people say, hey, I want to tour Crowder College, I want to see what the campus is all about, this is a great time to do that as we're nearing the end of the spring semester. You start thinking about enrollment and getting things ready for the summer and for the fall semester. What's the best way for them to contact you?
You know what? We've made it easy. In a sense, you can just send us an email, admissions@crowder.edu. You can go to the website, www.crowder.edu, and a little bubble's going to pop up on the right, and then one's going to pop up on the left. You can submit it either way there. You can even send a text to 417-389-7649, or you can call 417-455-5718. We are here, and we are excited for students to discover Crowder and to have a conversation. A lot of students have said, oh, yeah, I've been to Crowder for a contest or for a play or to visit the museum, but we want to show Crowder in a formal tour to really get a showcase all the different facilities, the different opportunities, and to have that discussion. So we would love to have all students on a tour.
Well, Kristi, it's great to have you on the program today. I encourage everyone, if you want to take a tour of Crowder College and thinking about going to Crowder to further your educational endeavors, I encourage you to do so and just contact Kristi and her team, and they'll give you a great behind-the-scenes tour of Crowder College. Kristi, thank you so much for being with us.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to This Week in Crowder College. This Week in Crowder College is sponsored by the law offices of Wood and Peterson in Neosho. You can listen to this broadcast again by going online to kneo.org or to crowder.edu. Tune in once again next week for another edition of This Week in Crowder College on KNEO 91.7 FM.